The August heat shimmered over the sand roads of East Prussia as Wilhelm, a 19-year-old musketeer in the German First Army Corps, pressed toward the village of Ustall. Could an entire Russian army, nearly 250,000 men, really be swallowed whole? It was 27th August, 1914. In the forests and lakes south of Allenstein, General Paul von Hindenburg and his chief of staff, Erich Ludendorff, led the German Eighth Army, roughly 150,000 men, against General Alexander Samsonov's Russian Second Army, larger still, and driving deep into German soil. But the Germans held a decisive secret. Russian commanders were sending their marching orders by wireless, uncoded. Hindenburg's staff knew exactly where each Russian corps was heading. Wilhelm knew none of this. He knew the weight of his pack, the grit in his teeth, and the order to advance. He had grown up in these provinces. This was his home the Russians were trampling. The artillery opened and the ground heaved. He fired, reloaded, fired again, his hands moving before his fear could catch them. Using East Prussia's dense railways, the Germans shifted whole corps to fall on Samsonov's flanks. As von Francois's First Corps stormed Ustall and drove south to Hindenburg, the German wings swung shut like a closing jaw, racing behind the Russian center to seal every road of retreat. By 29th August, the Russian Second Army was encircled in the marshes and forests around Tannenberg, funneled into fighting grounds with no way out. Wilhelm advanced past overturned wagons and abandoned guns, past long columns of prisoners shuffling with their hands raised, gaunt, footsore men who had outrun their own supplies. He had imagined glory. He found exhaustion and the strange silence of a beaten army. The toll was staggering. The Russian Second Army was destroyed, around 30,000 fallen or wounded, and some 92,000 taken prisoner. German losses were perhaps 12,000. Hindenburg named the victory Tannenberg, avenging a German defeat there 5 centuries before, and became a national legend. Russia's invasion of East Prussia was broken in a single week, and Wilhelm came home to a province that held one frightened man inside the encirclement that made an army vanish. Subscribe for more untold stories.